Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a good night's sleep. I sure did. It was wonderful. Had some nice dreams. It was really nice. Love waking up in the morning. It's a brand new day. Be joy. Rejoice and be glad in it. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects. And I'm going to share with you a book that I read that was really, really interesting. And in my opinion, it is right in line with the Bible and the teachings of God. But first, have you ever heard this phrase, the love of money is the root of all evil? I know, right? In 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 7, it says, I have it up on my screen here. It says, "For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and clothing, with these we all shall be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness and perceived themselves through with many sorrows." Oh, and have pierced themselves, strayed from the faith and their greediness and pierced themselves through with many arrows. Well, that makes more sense. So, when he's talking about the love of money, he's talking about greed. Putting all your efforts into receiving for yourself alone. We had a conversation about this the other day, how receiving things for yourself alone is considered the bread of shame. Because you are not acting as a conduit for the Spirit of God and receiving to give, receiving to share, receiving to promote. Here's the distinction that I want you to see here, is that, let's say I am a developer. Say I'm a developer, okay? And I spend all of my time buying up land, building houses at a premium, and not giving any money to the poor. Okay? All my desire is to build expensive things that only rich people can afford. And in return, I get rich. Okay? Organizations come to me and they ask me, "Hey, can you build some low-income housing over here?" And I'm like, "Well, how can I make money with that? I'll be operating at a loss. There's no way I can do that. You know how much lumber is nowadays? No, I can't afford to do that. No. Okay? But I'll spend a couple $1 billion on a yacht. You know? I'll spend a couple $1 billion on things for me to use. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay? But let's say I'm that same man. I'm a developer. And I build houses, build expensive houses, really nice ones, upscale, even do apartment complexes. I restore hotels. I buy and build hotels. I have golf courses. I do all of these things to make money. And I'm good at it, really good at it. I buy things cheap and I sell them at a premium, expensive. So I do all those things. But then on the side, I have this other nonprofit business that I take care of that I donate billions of dollars to build low-income houses. I give money to Tunnels to Towers. I give money to other charitable organizations. I have a premium membership on Angel Studios so that I can pay it forward. So I'm doing all those things, but I'm still in business to make a lot of money. You notice the distinction here. The distinction between the first one and the second one is that the first one was receiving for himself alone. Okay? And the second one was receiving so that he could give, so that he could share, so that he could do good things with it. See, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being rich. In fact, I think it's required. I think it's a great thing to be rich. I think it's a great thing for you to have more money than you need so you can give it away. How can you help your family and friends if you don't have money to do it? Surely you can spend time with them, help them construct things and fix things and do whatever. But we live in a world that requires money. You have to buy food. You have to buy a house or rent a house. You have to buy a car or rent a car. All of that stuff takes money. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being rich and receiving as much money as you can. Honestly, I think it's a requirement. You must be rich. You must be in a place where you have money set aside so if anything happens with your family and friends, you can support them. How would that feel? Tell me. How? And think about this, okay? If anybody in your family had some catastrophic event and they needed money to be able to take care of themselves. Let's say, in our neck of the woods, tornadoes and thunderstorms take people's houses away. What if one of those houses was a member of your family? Or one of your children? Or your parents? What if everything that they owned was in that house and now it's totally destroyed? And you don't have any money. You don't have enough space in your house to where you can bring them in to live with you while they reconstruct their lives. Or you're in a place where you have enough money where you can say, okay, mom, dad, sister, brother, son, daughter, friend, relative, here's what we can do. We have enough money to where I can rent you a house for a year so you and your insurance company can fight it out and build yourself a new house. Or I can say, don't worry about a thing. Go ahead and file your claims with the insurance company. But in the meantime, we're going to find you a new place. And if that place where you're living at is where you want to be, that's perfectly fine. We'll bulldoze everything down. We'll clean up the mess, and then we'll build you a new house. Wouldn't that be great? You're rich, and you can help your family. Cool thing about that is, if they want to pay you back, you can say, yeah, sure. If you want to pay me back, that's perfectly fine. You can do that. You can do it. No big deal. But if you can't, that's no big deal either. Because I'm rich. I have money to take care of you. I can do this. See, that's the important thing about being rich. And that's what they're talking about here in the scriptures. Because he's referring to greed. And that's receiving for yourself alone. But being rich to give, that's a totally a different thing. You see? All right. So I'm going to share this book with you. And I tell you, it's called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. This is one version of it. And in the back, got to put on my magic glasses so I can hear the word of so I can hear the word of God more clearly. Oh man, I'm full of tongue twisters today. All right, The Science of Getting Rich. There is nothing wrong with wanting to get rich. The desire for riches is really the desire for a richer, fuller, and more abundant life. And that desire is praiseworthy. Isn't that cool? So I'm gonna read the very last chapter here, and what it is it's a summary of the book. I recommend that you get it. You can get this on Amazon. It's really easy, and other book places. But I recommend you get it. But I wanna read this last chapter, because it summarizes everything that's in the book, and to me, it just makes it so crystal clear on how this works. Okay? It'll take a little bit, so sit back and relax. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. Otherwise, he cannot be in harmony with the formless intelligence, which is always creative and never competitive in spirit. So powerful. Man may come into full harmony with the formless substance by entertaining a lively and sincere gratitude for the blessings it bestows upon him. Gratitude unifies the mind of man with the intelligence of substance, so that man's thoughts are received by the formless. Man can remain upon the creative plane only by uniting himself with the formless intelligence through a deep and continuous feeling of gratitude. And it was good. Man must form a clear and definite mental image of the things he wishes to have, to do, or to become, and he must hold this mental image in his thoughts, while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that all his desires are granted to him. So cool. The man who wishes to get rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplating his vision and in earnest thanksgiving that the reality is being given to him. Too much stress cannot be laid on the importance of frequent contemplation of the mental image, coupled with the unwavering faith and devout gratitude. This is the process by which the impression is given to the formless, and the creative forces set in motion. The creative energy works through the established channels of natural growth and of the industrial and social order. All that is included in his mental image will surely be brought to the man who follows the instructions given above, and whose faith does not waver. What he wants will come to him through the ways of established trade and commerce. In order to receive his own, when it shall come to him, man must be active, and this activity can only consist in more than filling his present place. He must keep in mind the purpose to get rich through the realization of his mental image. He must do so every day. All that can be done that day, taking care to do each act in a successful manner. He must give to every man a use value in excess of the cash value he receives. That's the interesting part. So that each transaction makes for more life. He must so hold the advancing thought that the impression of increase will be communicated to all with whom he comes in contact. Spread the wealth. The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they received will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision, or the clarity of their vision. The fixity of their purpose and steadiness of their faith, and the depth of their gratitude. The end. Isn't that cool? When I read that for the first time, I was like, that's pretty much the same thing that God did when he created the heavens and the earth. It's right in line with what occurred in Genesis chapter 1. It's like, this is really, really cool. I recommend that you get that book and study it. Make it a part of your life, because we need good people to get rich and make money so they can do good things with it, so they can support their family and friends when it's necessary. Don't just give it to them because they'll take advantage of it. I know. Happened to me a few times, you know. They'd have to hear, anytime somebody asked me for money, they'd have to hear a lecture first. Say, well, you're going to pay for it. You're going to get lectured on finances. So, but I want to assure you that this works. About 20 years ago, maybe even longer than that. Yeah, maybe it was 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I put this thought in motion that by age 55, that I would retire with enough money that I wouldn't have to worry about it. That I'd be able to pay all my bills and I'd have enough left over to be able to help my family and friends when necessary. By the time I was 55. Now, my condition, my work condition at the time, was I was in the military, active duty in the military. So it's like, well, how is that going to happen? Well, horrible things happened to me while I was in the military. Put me in a condition to where I could no longer work after I retired. So that was devastating. I couldn't continue. Had to retire early. But I got my retirement from the military, and I was 55 when I retired. And I'm in a position to where I can pay all my bills. In fact, this year, if I still had it, I would be paying off my house this year. And so I'm in a position to where I don't have to worry about money. And even though there's times when I'm short and I can't help family and friends, but I do set aside things so that I can. Let me see. So, put in mind to retire at 55. The struggle was there, but the universe put together everything that it possibly could in order to make it so I could retire at 55. And I did. So, similar things could work for you. Put that thought in your mind. Follow the instructions in the book. I recommend that you get it. It's The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. I recommend that you get that. You will thank me for it. And please do. Okay. Well, have a great day. And please swirl that around in your noodle for a little bit. Listen to it again. Buy the book. You're going to love it. And, please share, like, and subscribe. Make sure you tell everybody about all the wonderful things you're hearing with the morning with Good Morning with Dr. Ken. So that's all I have for you today. And until we meet again, I wish you well.